tinago ko po asawa ko. Wanted siya. Lawyer ako eh. I cannot bear the fact na natutulungan ko yung ibang akusado tapos makukulong ang asawa ko. Tinago ko siya. And I really requested him to follow what I want, no?
That's what's going around. That here you are holding people to account, and yet you told your husband to hide. Talaga bang tinago niyo yung asawa niyo?
Yes. Tinago ko po ang asawa ko. It is because I needed to step back. So, hindi po totoo na I evaded the law. I just needed to step back because I needed to prepare my husband. I needed to prepare my young children then. I needed to prepare my kababayan.
Kapal ng mukha, di ba? Kaya nga kami mag-asawa eh, tinitingnan namin siya ng mga ano niya, mga interview niya.
It's a challenge for you. Hindi mo ba pwedeng IDP mo to prove you? Iimbestigahan nyo na yun? Kasi admission yan eh. Na sinabi niya na tinago niyo yung asawa niya. And that was rape. That's a non-bailable offense. Eh bakit si Revilla na nagdi-deny siya na ginawa niya yan pero nag-surrender siya? Di ba? O bakit? Bakit si Robin Padilla, ilang taon sa kulungan?
Yeah.
Bakit yung asawa ni Luistro, kakaiba? Ayaw talaga. Kahit na yun ang batas na kulong ka muna bago ka mag-motion for bail.
The Honorable Suntay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I completely agree with my distinguished colleague, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez. Constitution is very clear in its enumeration of impeachable officers. The Secretary of Education is not one of them. The actions of the Vice President as the Vice President of the Philippines is separate and distinct from her actions as Secretary of Education. But assuming for any stretch of imagination that we find the thing one and the same, the complaint alleges the exchange of money exchanging hands, but it does not allege any wrongdoing or illegal act. Kasi yung narration, sinabi lang, napunta, binigay dito. But that's the very nature of confidential funds. It's money changing hands, being distributed. And in all those narrations, we cannot simply assume na and simply conclude that the funds was actually went to the Vice President and became for her for her enjoyment. So I think that is a conclusion. Kasi doon sa narration, sinabi, napunta kay whoever, kung kani-kaninong mga tao. Eh kung kay BP directly, at sinasabi natin siya ay nagpa-withdraw, bakit kailangan pa umikot yung pera kung siya sa kanya rin pupunta? There is nothing in the complaint that states that it was used illegally. What is present is a conclusion made that it was used illegally. We cannot simply say that it went to VP Sara for her personal gain. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair.
The Honorable
Madam Chair.
Chua.
Chair.
Honorable Chua, and then Honorable Tinio, and then Honorable Abante.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This time, Madam Chair, I beg to disagree with my esteemed professor and my mentor, the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez, who happens to be my ninong also.
Your seatmate
Why?
also.
And my seatmate also, my favorite seatmate. You know, the reason why I am like this is because of what he taught from me, what I gathered from the wisdom of the Honorable Rufus. Anyway, let me read, Madam Chair, what the Constitution provides with respect to the Executive Department, Article 7, Section 3, second paragraph, which provides that the Vice President may be appointed as a member of the Cabinet. such appointment requires no confirmation. Madam Chair, if you will read this provision, it is very clear the reason why the Vice President is holding the position, cabinet position of DepEd Secretary is because of her being elected as Vice President. And in fact, Madam Chair, the Vice President is the only cabinet member who does not need confirmation. Siya lang po nagkakaiba. Why? Because she owes it to the people for electing her as the Vice President. Yun po yung aking argumento dito. Now, bakit naman po siya? Bakit ko naman po sinasabi na dito meron pong substance? Why? Dito pong grounds number 2, makikita po natin ito sa paragraph 72 to 91 dito po sa impeachment complaint. Dito po, mababasa po natin dito, sabi po dito, ito po, kung babasahin po natin, sa paragraph 79, page 31, sabi po dito, DepEd submitted its reply to COA ICPAW AOM. In this reply, DepEd attached DEPs justifying its use of confidential fund. The most notable of these DPS were certification issued by officials of the Philippine Army. So ano po ba to? Ito po yung certification na in-issue ng mga Philippine Army certifying, sinasabi po nila na wala po silang pondo na nakuha galing po sa DepEd contrary sa certificate na in-issue po nila dahil ito po ay hiningi ng DepEd. At kung babasahin din po natin yung paragraph 88, sinasabi po dito, Fajarda certified that he personally disbursed this amount to the different localities in a single day, a feat that is physically impossible. Fajarda later admitted that the disbursement were made through Colonel Nolasco, who was ostensibly a military aide assigned to OBP pursuant to instructions from the Vice President, Sara. Now, sino po itong si Fajarda at sino rin po itong si Acosta? Now, we are talking here of two SDOs. Ang trabaho po ng SDOs, sila po ang Special Disbursing Officer. Meaning to say, sa kanila po yung pangangalaga ng pera. Sila dapat ang nagdi-disburse, sila rin po ang dapat na nagli-liquidate. Pero dito po, sa DepEd, dito po kay Fajarda, upon the instruction of the Vice President, or at that time, Secretary of DepEd, yung pera po, hindi po yung SDO ang nagdi-disburse. Dahil yung buong pera po, according dito po sa complaint, ay ibinigay po kay Colonel Nolasco na wala naman pong kinalaman sa pagdi-disburse po ng pondo. That, Madam Chair, is betrayal of public trust, clearly. So, Madam Chair, I believe that we have sufficient in substance insofar as the grounds number 2 of the impeachment complaint is concerned.
Thank you, Honorable Chua. Next is the Honorable Tino.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. This is also a rejoinder to the comments made by the Honorable Rodriguez as well, no? So, I would agree with him that the actions of Secretary of the Department of Education will not fall under the jurisdiction of the Committee on Justice when it comes to matters of impeachment, because of course, the Secretary of Education is not an impeachable official. However, we're not talking about just an ordinary Secretary of Education, but the Vice President appointed concurrently as the Secretary of Education. No, and so it is what is the subject of impeachment are the actions of the Vice President in her capacity as the Secretary of Education. And so therefore, I would say that such actions of the Vice President as Secretary of Education are within the jurisdiction of the Committee on Justice. And I would go further to say that as far as the third complaint is concerned, there are sufficient factual allegations to support the ground of betrayal of public trust and graft and corruption, Madam Chair.
Next is the Honorable Abante. This is on the argument of the Honorable Rodriguez that as Secretary of Department of Education, it takes away the offense outside the jurisdiction of the Justice Committee. That is the argument of the Honorable Rodriguez.
Yes, Madam Chair. Natutuwa lang ako sa binanggit ni Congressman Suntay na palaging sinusuportahan ko yan pag-eleksyon. At kahit na ganyan siya, susuportahan ko pa rin yan sa eleksyon. Pero ito po nga sabihin ko sinasabi nila, sabi si Congressman Rufus, talagang makaibigan kami niyan eh. Nasabi po nila na distinct, di ba? Hindi pwedeng akusahan si Vice President doon sa nagastos niya sa pagiging Secretary of Education Department. Well, pambibigyan na lang po ako ng ilustrasyon. Logic lang po ito. Yung dalawang kamay natin. For example, ito yung Vice President, ito yung Secretary of Education. Ito yung perang binigay ng Secretary of Education na kasama ng kamay ng Vice President. Ang tanong ko ito, sino ba nag-iisip? Isa lang ang utak eh. Wala namang utak yung isang kamay. Sa isang kamay. Isang utak lang po ang nagpapagana rito. Yun ang pong sabihin.
I hope everybody heard the analogy. Now it's the turn of the endorser to comment to the argument that the fact that the offense was committed as Secretary of Education, it takes away the offense outside the jurisdiction of the Justice Committee. The comment of the endorser, Honorable De Lima.
Being in a concurrent capacity does not segregate one from the other. And as mentioned earlier, under the Constitution, she is the only, official in the cabinet that to hold a simultaneous position. The VP may be appointed as a member of the cabinet. And that's why hindi nga po kailangan ang confirmation. Now, doon naman po sa sinasabing iba ang sa DepEd, iba yung sa VP. Yung sa culpable violation of the Constitution, it does not say in relation to the proper office, whether office of the VP. It does not relate that it does not relate or is not in the relation to the office proper, which is the office of the VP as VP. That is the office proper of Sara Duterte as VP. It's attached to the person, yung pagko-commit ng culpable violation of the Constitution and even betrayal of public trust, it is attached to the person and position of the impeachable officer as her acts or omissions relate to the provisions of the Constitution. So hindi dapat nagiging stricto yung pag-delineate o pag-segregate, paghihiwalay ng mga alleged acts or omissions ng isang secretary, ng isang DepEd secretary who is at the same time the VP. Because these acts or omissions, yung nandun sa detalye po, underground 2, are her acts. One person as Vice President and DepEd Secretary in concurrent capacity. Hindi ho pwedeng gano'n na kung ano lang ang ginawa bilang VP, hindi yung as DepEd Secretary, even if these are related in terms of modus, in terms of pattern, in terms of system, ay hindi na dapat cognizable by an impeachment proceeding before the House Committee. Di ho ba?
You would like to
Respond
reply?
to reply to all those who said that we have jurisdiction.
All right, because of the significance of this argument, let's give an opportunity to Honorable Rodriguez to reply, and then for the endorser to manifest her rejoinder.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The jurisdiction of this committee acting as an impeachment committee springs from Article 11, Section 2 of the Constitution, and then Section 3 to Section to Paragraph 7 in seriatim. And clearly, it is only the actions of the Vice President. It is the only President, the Vice President, and then we have the Supreme Court and the others. So this is the distinction between them, is that there are two separate offices with two separate budgets. We determine the budget in Congress of the Vice President, and we determine also the budget of the Department of Education. So, very clear that whatever stated here in ground 2 is it is not one of those that we will be discussing, because after all, in paragraph 3.7, the judgment of the, in case we bring this up to the Senate, is it shall not, judgment in impeachment it shall not extend further than removal from office. We cannot state in the decision, in our findings, that she committed violations as Secretary of Education. That is a matter, in fact, cases had been filed in the Ombudsman. Because the Vice President is not immune from suit. Although there's a question of whether the Ombudsman can suspend or dismiss a Vice President because impeachable officials can only be removed through impeachment. That is another issue. But the point is that this impeachment court should only focus, because of the Constitution and our rules that it should be, we should have jurisdiction, it should be very clear that all these actions of the Vice President falls within, and if there's a recital of facts against the Vice President, which is sufficient in substance, it proceeds. But in this very particular ground, we are ousted of jurisdiction in this case, totally devoid of jurisdiction to be ruling on what the Secretary of Justice, Secretary of Education has done. In fact, she's already resigned. She's not anymore Secretary of DepEd. So that is what this representation has studied. We have to follow the Constitution. We have to follow our rules. Thank you, Madam Chair.
To conclude our deliberation on the second ground, we will hear the rejoinder argument of the endorser against the argument raised by the Honorable Rodriguez. Honorable De Lima.
To me, Madam Chair, it is absurd to isolate acts or omissions committed by an officer, by an impeachable officer, done in a concurrent official status or official public function, which is an adjunct or related to VP as VP. Otherwise, I can just commit violations, I can just commit offenses and skirt accountability. That simply because that's not really the office of the VP, but the office of the DepEd Secretary, but adjunct to her capacity or status as VP. I-skirt yung mga ma-i-skirt, will play around the law just so she will be absolved from the issue of impeachment or the possibility of impeachment, because these are related. It's the same person. It's also about fitness to hold office. Kasama rin po dyan. Fitness, both as a VP and concurrent DepEd Secretary. Evil sought to be avoided and suppressed in impeachment. Principle applies to her as DepEd, the so-called mischief rule. She cannot avoid accountability when that very position as DepEd Secretary is attached or adjunct to her function or position as VP. Thank you.
Just a quick manifestation. Maiksing-maiksi lang po.
That rejoinder of the endorser is supposed to conclude our deliberation on the second ground.
Madam
Please
Chair.
reserve your...
I believe that my manifestation is very important. If we will follow the logic of my very good professor and dean,
Okay. So in the interest of equality and fairness, we recognize the Honorable Chua.
kung sasakyan po natin yung argumento ni Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, at ngayon po, meron pong kaso sa Office of the Ombudsman ang BP. Paano po pag may lumabas na warrant, pwede po bang damputin ng Vice Presidente at sasabihin siya ay inaaresto bilang Secretary of DepEd, hindi bilang Vice President? We cannot separate the Vice President from from her previous position as Secretary. Why? Because we are trading a fine line. Pwede po itong maabuso. At pwede po itong magamit sa Vice Presidente bukas makalawa, maglabas ng warrant. Dahil po sa kaso niya ng pending sa Office of the Ombudsman. At sasabihin, kinakasuan siya at pinupusasan. Dahil siya po ay Secretary ng DepEd, hindi bilang Vice President ng Republika ng Pilipinas. Yun lang po.
Thank you. So that
Madam Chair.
concludes our...
I have short manifestation in the
Is that
interest of
in line
fairness.
also with the argument of
With
Congress?
with the second ground, I
Yeah,
think it's
but is it
related.
in line with the argument of the Honorable Rodriguez
Ma'am,
about the jurisdiction of this committee over the offense committed as DepEd Secretary?
Madam Chair, let's not narrow the discussion. We're on ground 2, di ba ma'am? Nasa ground 2 po tayo ng impeachment.
All right.
So I can still
This
make
is
manifestation.
a separate argument
For ground 2.
for the second ground. The
Yes,
Honorable
ma'am.
Marcoleta is recognized.
Thank you, my favorite, Madam Chair. Favorite ko na po kayo. Ayan, ang sinasabi sa complaint ay may confidential funds na ginamit. At may money trail hanggang sa paglabas ng pera. But the narrative stops there. Dun sa military men. There is no mention that the money landed on the hands of the Vice President. Walang pinakitang ebidensya na ang mga pondong ito ay ginamit sa illegal na pamamaraan. In fact, the same records mention that operational uses such as payment of safe houses, supplies, and other intelligence-related expenses were incurred. Wala namang binanggit na tinanggap ng Vice Presidente yung pera. Kung ganon, the mere movement or withdrawal of funds cannot automatically establish corruption, plunder, or any impeachable offense. Ang kailangan po ay malinaw na ebidensya ng ginamit na pera ay illegal, ay ginamit sa illegal na pamamaraan. At hindi po ito binanggit sa complaint. At pangalawa po, Madam Chair, the complainants or endorsers of the complaint cannot simply reframe the alleged offense halfway through the process. Kung ang original na teorya ng complaint ay corruption or misuse of funds, hindi pwedeng kapag hindi iyon napatunayan ay bigla na lang itong ililipat sa betrayal of public trust para mag-fit sa anumang ebidensya na available. That would be fundamentally unfair. Hindi pwedeng baguhin ang ground for impeachment depende sa kung anong facts ang lalabas. Sa ganitong sitwasyon, hindi na ito simpleng fishing expedition, parang binabago na mismo ang impeachable offense para lang umangkop sa ebidensya na mayroon ang complainants. At kung papayagan natin iyon, nagiging unpredictable at arbitrary ang standard ng impeachment, which undermines the integrity of this process. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Comment from the endorser?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Betrayal of public trust is the ground. Betrayal of public trust, as mentioned earlier, encompasses the other grounds from the culpable violation of the Constitution up to other high crimes and even bribery and graft and corruption. So the Constitution is clear. It is a ground. So whether or not connected ito dun sa other impeachable offenses as alleged, it can stay on its own. It can stand on its own as a specific ground. So either encompassing the others or on its own. And for as long as the alleged facts really depict betrayal of public trust, then that is an impeachable offense. Yung katulad pong, doon naman po sa unang mga sinasabi na the judge should be proved later, that is evidentiary already, not at this stage of determination of sufficiency in substance. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes our deliberation on the second round.
Madam Chair, one point.
This is my second attempt to
Sorry, but just one point.
shift to the third
Very
round.
short lang po.
With the indulgence of the members, this will be the last justice member we will be recognizing on the second round. You may proceed, Honorable Ridon.
Well, in the last two grounds, paulit-ulit po binabanggit yung wala daw pong personal benefit, no? Si Vice President Sara Duterte. That is something that will be shown at a future time. But again, to be clear, sa totoo lang, di naman ho kailangan ng personal benefit sa malversation. In fact, marami pong mga nasasakdal ngayon sa Sandigan Bayan. All they did was basically just sign into the disbursement vouchers, sign into the bidding documents. Nakapila ho sila doon ngayon, nakapiit ho sila sa mga kaso on malversation kahit sinasabi na wala ho silang personal benefit. So to insist na kailangan po ng personal benefit on impeachable offenses, parang mali po ata yun, Madam Chair. So again, to be clear, hindi ho required ang personal benefit sa malversation. Yung mere po na pagkakamali or maling paggamit ng pondo po na inilaan ay magkakonstitute na po agad ng malversation. Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, just a reply because we have to consider the elements of malversation.
The chair already pronounced that Honorable Ridon will be the last justice member to be recognized on the
Just to
second
clarify so that we
round.
don't confuse people.
Kindly-
Personal benefit is an
Kindly
element
reserve
of
your
malversation.
manifestations for the succeeding rounds. Order, please.
Okay.
Now we proceed to the third round. The chair will read, Vice President Duterte committed culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayed public trust by corrupting and bribing officials of the Department of Education. Let us now hear the manifestation of the endorser. Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, the third ground is largely based on the statement of facts in relation to Vice President Sara's corruption and bribery of DepEd employees, which is covered by paragraphs 92 to 98, pages 34 to 40 of the complaint. Ang sinasabi po essentially, so ipapakita uli sa screen yung mga specific factual allegations in the complaint. But just to sort of sum it up, ito po ang kwento under this ground. Ito po yung allegation under this ground. Noong September 25, 2024, tumestigo sa Kamara si former DepEd Undersecretary and Head of Procuring Entity, Gloria Humamil Mercado. That's paragraph 92. Ayon sa kanya, mula February hanggang September 23, nakatanggap siya ng 9 na sobre na may label na Hope. Bawat isa ay may lamang 50,000. Karamihan umano ay personal binigay ni Assistant Secretary Sunshine Fajardo na nagsabing ang mga sobre ay direkta umanong nagmula kay VP Sara. Paragraph 93. Noong October 17, 2024, tumestigo rin si DepEd Director 4 at Back Chair Resty Osias na nakatanggap din siya ng 4 na sobre sa pagitan ng April at 4th quarter ng 2023. Bawat isa ay may lamang 12,000 hanggang 15,000 at dumaan din kay Fajarda, paragraphs 95 to 96. Parehong pamamaraan o parehong modus. Noong November 5, 2024, tumistigo naman si DepEd Chief Accountant Runa Catalan na nakatanggap siya ng siyam na sobre na may tig 25,000 mula February hanggang December 2023 at tulad ng iba, idinaan kay Fajardo. That's paragraph 97. Ang pattern po dito, regular envelopes of cash allegedly originating from the Vice President coursed through a subordinate official. The complaint alleges, Madam Chair, if admitted as true, parte lang po ng mga allegations na yan under ground 3. I just chose the more important allegations. Madam Chair, if admitted as true, these allegations constitute bribery and corruption, which are expressly impeachable offenses under the Constitution. And ang nakasabi rin sa ground, is a third ground, it constitutes the constitutional offenses of culpable violation of the Constitution, betrayal of public trust, graft and corruption, and bribery. Yung mga acts na yon, ng pagbigay at pag-deliver ng mga envelopes to certain disbursing officers, special disbursing officers of the office, ay bribery and corruption. Bakit naman po culpable violation of the Constitution? The constitutional oath requires faithful execution of the laws. Kung inaakusahang nanuhol sa kanyang mga tao ang isang cabinet-level official upang mapilitan silang baluktutin ang mga patakaran ng procurement o lumagda sa mga peking liquidation reports, hindi ito simpleng paglabag lamang sa isang batas, isa itong tahasang paglabag sa tamang proseso ng pamamahala ng pondo ng bayan. It reflects conscious and willful disregard of constitutional accountability. Para po sa akin, that satisfies the standard for culpable violation, a willful and knowing breach of constitutional duty. Bakit naman po betrayal of public trust? Kung ang panunuhol ay para maimpluwensyahan ang mga desisyon sa procurement at liquidation at ipagpapalagay na ito ay totoo, ang ganitong gawain ay sumisira sa integridad ng mga transaksyon ng pamahalaan, kumukompromiso sa mga internal control mechanisms, pagsusulong ng pansarili o pampolitikang interes bago ang integridad ng institusyon. That is the very essence of betrayal of public trust. At bakit naman po corruption and bribery? Malinaw po ito. The Constitution explicitly lists bribery, graft, and corruption as impeachable offenses, as grounds for impeachment. Sa ilalim ng Articles 210 at 211 ng Revised Penal Code at ng Republic Act No. 3019, the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, sa pinakasimpleng paliwanag, ang bribery o panunuhol ay nagaganap kapag ang isang opisyal ng gobyerno ay nagbibigay, nag-aalok, o nagpapadaan ng anumang regalo o benepisyo upang maimpluwensyahan ang isang opisyal na aksyon. That is in relation to the specific acts here. Samantala, sa ilalim ng Section 3, Paragraph A ng RA 3019, may parusa sa sinumang mag-udyok o mang-impluwensya sa ibang opisyal upang gumawa ng mga gawaing labag sa mga alintuntunin na may kaugnayan sa kanilang tungkulin. I submit, Madam Chair, the complaint pleads specific ultimate facts as to ground number 3, hindi basta-basta ang mga paratang dito. Tinutukoy mismo ng mga ito kung letter A, paano binigay yung mga sobre na may lamang cash. So yun ang pagbigay, sobre na may lamang cash. B, sino ang tumanggap? Matataas na opisyal. C, magkano ang tinanggap mula 12,000 hanggang 50,000 each. D, para saan ibinigay upang maimpluwensyahan ang procurement at liquidation. Ano ang ugnayan ng pera sa mga opisyal? Tinutukoy po mismo kung ano ang ugnayan ng pera sa mga opisyal na gawain. Kung totoo ang mga alegasyong ito, malinaw nung tumutugma ang mga ito sa mga legal na elemento ng bribery at corruption. Pagbibigay ng pera, may kinalaman sa opisyal na tungkulin, may layuning impluwensyahan ang opisyal na aksyon. At this threshold, that is sufficient. I so submit, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Now we will hear the comments and manifestations of the members on the second ground of the third impeachment complaint.
Third.
The Honorable Rodriguez,
It's not
third ground.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Third
So-
ground of the third impeachment complaint.
So
To
once
be clear.
again, Madam Chair, under ground 3, the Committee of Justice acting as an impeachment prosecution is devoid of jurisdiction. The actuations of former Secretary Sara Duterte of the Department of Education is not within the jurisdiction and realm of an impeachment prosecution committee. Therefore, in this very, very clear case, there is allegation of culpable violation of the Constitution, and, this is not a ground for a Secretary of Education. These are grounds for the Vice President. Then, corruption, Republic Act 3019. It is a ground for the Vice President. It is a ground for filing in the Ombudsman under Section 3A or E of the Republic Act 3019, the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act. Then, bribing officials. Madam Chair, this will fall under Article 210 on direct bribery of the revised penal code, again, cognizable not by this committee, but also in the Ombudsman if they are minded to file this against the former Secretary of Education. Therefore, there is no substance, but it is devoid of jurisdiction of this honorable committee. I submit, Madam Chair.
Thank you. So for the guidance of the justice members, it appears that there is a similarity of argument of the Honorable Rodriguez with respect to the second and the third ground. That is of the third impeachment complaint. The Honorable Chua.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Also, again, Madam Chair, I submit that my manifestation in the second ground is also the same in the third ground. Considering that what we are talking here is the Vice President in her capacity as Secretary of DepEd. Again, I would like to quote Section 3, Article 7 of the 1987 Constitution, second paragraph, which provides that the Vice President may be appointed as a member of the Cabinet. Such appointment requires no confirmation. Again, the position of Secretary of DepEd is concurrent to her position as Vice President. And that is the only position, or that is the only Cabinet Secretary who needs no confirmation from the Commission on Appointment. And therefore, Madam Chair, I would like to submit again na imposible po talaga na paghiwalayin itong dalawa. Otherwise, baka po may mga abuso po sa ganitong logic at sampahan po hindi lang po ang ating Vice Presidente. Yung mga susunod pa pong Vice Presidente na ayaw pong nilang isubject sa impeachment, sa tamang proseso, idadaan nila sa shortcut, kakasuhan sa ombudsman at lalabasan ng warrant at siya po ay poposasan, hindi po bilang Vice Presidente, kung hindi bilang miyembro ng kabinete. Again, Thank you po.
Honorable
Madam Chair.
Chua, would you like to raise a motion for the adoption of our discussion in the second round for the purpose of our deliberation
Yes, Madam
of the
Chair, I
third round?
move that we adopt the discussion insofar as the second round of the impeachment complaint, third impeachment complaint. So move, Madam Chair.
There is a motion to adopt the discussion in the second round of the third impeachment complaint for the purpose of our deliberation on the third ground of the same third impeachment complaint. Do I hear a second? The same has been seconded. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved. Would you like to raise new matters in relation to the third ground, aside from the issue of jurisdiction? Because our discussion on the second ground has been adopted already for the purpose of our deliberation of the third ground. For the guidance of the justice members, please make sure that in continuing our deliberation on the third ground, make sure that your manifestation pertains to new matters other than the issue of jurisdiction. The Honorable Suntay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, once again, while the complaint has a narration of movement of funds, again, it is anchored on hearsay. As stated, sinabi, nanggaling daw kay BP Sara. Pero hindi si BP Sara yung nagbigay nung envelope. Pangalawa, the allegations that money were used to manipulate procurement, disbursement, and liquidation process to benefit VP Sara are based on mere conjectures. Bribery is a transactional crime. It involves a public official performing an official act in exchange for a gift or favor. It can be direct or indirect bribery. But nowhere in the complaint did it show any contracts to be influenced, any contractors to be given in exchange for the alleged envelope. So once again, we cannot just conclude that it is to influence procurement or liquidation without any facts. There was also an allegation of a graft under RA 3019 of giving. Now, how is this crime committed? It can be committed by officials acting alone to benefit themselves or others. Common modes include giving unwarranted benefits, entering into disadvantageous contracts, conflict of interest, requesting or receiving gifts. But nowhere in the complaint showed that the Vice President asked or benefited from any of this. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Honorable De Lima, would you like to respond?
Yes, Your Honor. There have been testimonies about the release, the distribution of the envelopes containing cash. And these are given and distributed to those holding procurement-related functions. Now, what is that all about? That is about influencing the decisions of these officials. And that is certainly bribery. That is certainly corruption. Aside from the TSNs, nandyan yung mga video ng mga officers na yon na sinasabi nga na tumanggap sila ng mga envelopes. So there's a matter of proof, but that has been clearly alleged, clearly and sufficiently alleged. Kasi yung sinasabi ng mga video, galing ito sa testimony nila, yung mga admissions ng mga officers na yon ng DepEd. Admissions receiving payola. It can be considered as payola. Admission of Reyna Catalan that he received payments. Ganon din yung admission ni Resty Osias receiving payola payments. Admission of SDO Gina Acosta on the encashment of check for CF. Admission of SDO Edward Fajardo also on the disbursement
Fajarda,
or
Madam Chair.
of the admission, the receipt of check for confidential funds. So ano pa ho ba ang hahanapin natin na mismo doon sa mga taong nakatanggap at yun ang posisyon nila, they are key people doon sa mga disbursements ay sa mga pag-procure ng supposed materials, whatever it is, the needs of the Department of Education. Ano po ba yon? Tama ho ba yon na nagbibigay ng pera sa mga subordinates na hindi naman yon yung mga sweldo nila, hindi naman yon benefits nila, hindi naman bonus yon. That is illegal. Thank you.
Before we proceed, the endorser made mention about videos. Can you please expound what videos you are referring to?
Those are supposedly the ones taken during the appearance of these officials.
And whose
before the
videos are
committee.
this?
From the
The videos of the inquiry conducted
inquiry.
by the good government.
yes.
And did
yes.
you include that in your exhibits or attachments of the impeachment complaint?
Not yet, Madam Chair. We
Not
can always ask because these form part.
Who are
Of
these
the official
people in the
records.
videos? Just for the record, who are these people in the videos?
Catalan, Acosta, Mercado.
And just for the record, Honorable De Lima, what are they doing or saying in the video?
Receiving the payola, that they received those envelopes from the Vice President.
Madam Chair, just a reply.
Madam Chair.
It is very
Honorable
clear in the
Suntay,
affidavit.
Is that a reply?
Yes,
All
Madam
right,
Chair.
you're recognized.
The video showed that they received envelopes, but it did not show in exchange for what. So what was being influenced? We cannot just conclude that it is for something. Walang pinagkaiba yan dito. Sometimes envelopes are given, but it doesn't mean we are being bribed. Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right, that is the reply of the Honorable Suntay. Let's hear the rejoinder of the Honorable De Lima.
It's about, these are admissions that they received something, that they received cash. And it cannot be for any lawful purpose or purposes because they are holding those positions. And it's a matter of evidence also. We can always ask them again na ano ba sa tingin nyo yung pagbigay ng mga pera na yan outside of supposedly, because it's not supposed to be part of the function of a head of office to be giving money which do not pertain to the lawful purposes related to the functions of these officers. It's basically a matter of evidence. And the TSNs, these are all part of the records of the hearings.
Madam Chair.
Is this in line with
Yes.
the matter raised by the Honorable Suntay?
Yes.
Yes. You're
Yes.
recognized.
Yes, Madam Chair. We are just into the determination of the recital of facts, determination of the substance. Wala pa po tayo dun sa hearing proper. Maybe later on, when the proper hearing comes sa Senate, dun po pwede po lahat yan, yung mga affirmative defense, po pwede pong ilabas. Thank you
All
po,
right, the
Madam Chair.
manifestation is noted. Now it's the turn of the Honorable Lord Ansuan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For clarity and again for purposes of determining sufficiency and substance under our rules, may I request the Honorable Endorser to restate which specific ultimate facts in the third ground directly attribute the alleged acts of bribery and corruption to the respondent, and more importantly, how these acts rise to the constitutional level of culpable violation of the Constitution or betrayal of public trust under Article 11, Section 2.
Honorable De Lima.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The recital of facts, the ultimate of facts are pleaded, the ultimate facts are pleaded in the complaint itself, referring to those testimonies, the admissions of these officers na tumanggap sila ng mga sobre at karamihan umano ay personal na ibinigay ni Assistant Secretary Sunshine Fajardo na nagsabing ang mga sobre ay direkta umanong nagmula kay VP Sara. That is an act attributable to her. And then even outside of yung tungkol sa pag-prove kung ano yung mga purposes noon, that can be considered as bribery really. It's a bribe to accept cash gifts. This can be considered as cash gifts because it's not clear kung para sa anong purpose ito. It's clear to the it's clear in the admissions of these officers that it has something to do with yung kanilang pag-perform ng functions para ma-influence yung mga procurement ng mga bagay, ng mga equipment, ng mga materials sa office, sa Department of Education. And again, DepEd Secretary is concurrent. So, culpable violation of the Constitution. You're not supposed to do that. Public office is a public trust. All public officers are supposed at all times to exercise decency, fidelity, loyalty to the Constitution. Tama ba na gano'n ang ginagawa ng isang head of office na nagbibigay ng mga ganyan na mga monetary matters, monetary things na hindi naman kasama doon sa mga dapat natatanggap ng mga empleyado, ng mga opisyal ng isang department. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Any other manifestation? If there are no more manifestations, then
Well, actually, Madam
Honorable
Chair,
Redon?
I think the committee is ready to, has a copy of the committee proceedings then. Maybe we can play it so that we can be refreshed as to the testimonies that had been elicited from, who are these persons again? Mercado et al. Madam Chair.
Catalan.
If it is the pleasure of the endorser, I think the committee has copies of the videos. We can play it for the members to see, Madam Chair.
I understand that the video referred to by the endorser forms part of the hearings conducted by the Good Government Committee. That is during the 19th Congress, no? But I think we should give Paul time to the committee secretariat to be able to prepare the video. Honorable Tino, would you like to say something?
Madam Chair, is the video part of annex to the complaint? Is it part of the complaint? Was it annexed? Because it cannot be introduced if it was not annexed as part of the complaint.
Their testimonies are part of the narration of facts. Now, but although it's not
Is it
yet,
part of the annexed?
not
Was
at
it
this
annexed to the
point.
complaint?
Not at this point.
So,
But that is,
if the endorser is interested to play that video of the committee, then perhaps the chair should hear a motion. Because it seems that everybody is not in agreement about playing that video, aside from the Honorable Suntay. Honorable Suntay, are you opposing the playing of the video?
Actually, okay lang sa akin. I just want us to abide by rules. Because under Rule 3, Section 5 of the impeachment rules, the committee determines sufficiency based on facts alleged in the complaint. And if we are going to show a video which was not part of the complaint filed, then how can we introduce
Well,
it?
according
Yung
to
sa
the
akin lang gusto ko,
endorser,
we just follow the rules.
according
Yun
to
lang.
the endorser, the admissions or the testimonies of the DepEd officials who will be seen in the video or who were in the video were actually part of the allegations of facts.
yes, that is correct, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
The Honorable Tino.
Madam Chair, since nandyan na rin, mukhang available naman yung mga video at binanggit na kasama ito sa recitation of facts nung pangatlong ground na kinoconsider ngayon, which is bribery. The Vice President bribed certain DepEd officials. And apparently, meron ngang video nung DepEd official, Mercado, na umaamin na tumanggap siya ng bribe. So, baka mas maganda po ay makita na to.
Since the Honorable Suntay is not opposing, it appears that no one is opposing, then we will be suspending for a few minutes just to inquire with the Secretariat if they are ready to present the video. Ready ba kayo? Ready kayo? Yeah. The meeting is resumed. May I confirm from the endorser if she's pertaining to the video of Mercado, Osayas, and Catalan? May we confirm from the endorser, the Honorable De Lima? Mercado, Osayas, and Catalan?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. The purpose of showing this video is to provide guidance to the justice members as we determine the sufficiency in substance of the third impeachment complaint. So, it seems that the Secretariat is ready. Kindly play the video of these 3 DepEd officials.
Okay, I understand, ma'am, Yusek, that you have a statement. Meron po kayong statement na sasabihin. You are now recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I start, I just want to say that this is a very difficult thing to do, and I apologize to my children who didn't like me to join this this session, and also my colleagues who are my friends, but I have to read my statement. My name is Gloria Humamil Mercado, and I have dedicated over 40 years to public service in the government of the Philippines. In my last year with government, I served as the Undersecretary for Human Resource and Organizational Development of the Department of Education. I was appointed as DepEd Undersecretary by President Marcos, as recommended by Vice President Sara Semerman Duterte in 2022, and I assumed office in August of 2022 in February 2022. In February 2023, I was designated as the head of the procuring entity of DepEd. As one of the signatories of DepEd's checking account, alongside Undersecretary for Finance, Annalyn Sevilla, I signed checks related to all funds, and recall that each some of the checks that I signed amounted to 37,500,000 pesos. Between February 2023 to September 2023, I received a total of 9 envelopes labeled Hope, my concurrent position in DepEd during that time. These envelopes were handed to me mostly by Assistant Secretary Sunshine Fajarda, which she says came directly from Vice President Duterte. What she would typically say as she hands the envelope: it would appear that I received this envelope by virtue of my office as Hope. Attorney Fajarda is the wife of Edward Fajarda, who is the Special Disbursement Officer. Although the exact date evades recollection, sometimes during the course of my tenure with DepEd, a member of my staff informed me that an inquiry was made by one of our officers in the field that Mr. Fajarda had made inquiries about the bank accounts of several individuals and if divulging such information to him was permitted. My office confirmed that it was upon the instruction of the Office of the Secretary. Evidently, it would appear that regional directors and other employees on the field would also receive sums on top of the regular salaries. Sometimes in October 2023, as the likelihood of a bidding failure for DepEd computerization have become apparent, I was approached, by Attorney Monsayak, and he suggested in the presence of other officials who was with me that the bidders should just discuss among themselves. Mag-usap-usap na lang para hindi masayang yung pera ng 2023. I firmly asserted that the procurement must be implemented and conducted in strict adherence with the rules. Sometimes on the 3rd or 4th week of October, I was summoned by Zulaika Lopez, the Chief of Staff of the Vice President and Undersecretary of the OBP. I was informed that I should tender my resignation effective that day. I refused to resign and I insisted on departing from service through voluntary retirement. The timing of my meeting with Ms. Zulaika struck me as more than coincidental. It gave me the impression that my candid responses was the real reason behind the push to relieve me of my office. It was as if I had become an unwelcome obstacle, despite simply doing my job as Hope and Undersecretary of Human Resources of DepEd. Prior to my meeting with Ms. Zulaika, there were other undersecretaries and assistant secretaries who were summoned also and were also summoned, all of the same purpose of informing them that they should tender their resignation effective on the same day. I signed my affidavit.
Does the endorser confirm that this is one of the video?
Yes, Madam Chair.
All right. Are there any other videos? Because I understand that there are 3 DepEd officials. This is Mercado.
Catalan and Osias.
Do we have videos of Catalan and Osayas?
Yes. Is there? There. Not at the moment.
It will be played.
Yes.
Right from your allowance, from your regular budget, nakakatanggap po ba kayo ng envelope just like Yusek Mercado and Director Osias from ASEC Fajarda?
Yes, sir.
Magkakano?
Minimal amount lang po.
Which is, how much po?
It's not even,
Magkano po?
it's 25,000.
25,000. How many times po?
9?
Ilan?
9 times.
9 times. From what month up to what month? Let me guess, from February to September?
I think so, sir.
So, nung September po, tumigil na.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just like Yusek Mercado. Tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, thank you po.
So, just kindly state, Madam Endorser, the person in the video, that is? The person in the video, I think that's Miss Catalan.
Catalan, yes, Madam
Because
Chair.
you are the one in the video. Do you recall, Honorable Chua, the position of Miss Catalan?
Yes, Madam Chair.
What is her position in DepEd?
I think she is also connected with the bidding.
Bidding? Bidding
Yes,
process?
bidding. If I'm not mistaken.
All right, so
Madam Chair, she's the chief accountant.
Chief Accountant.
Sorry.
Now we will proceed to the last video. I suppose this is Osayas.
Madam Chair.
Tanong lang po.
would you also receive envelopes from Miss Shine Paharda? Parang ikinuwento ni Yusek Mercado, envelope containing cash.
All right. Your Honor, Mr. Chair, no, I must be candid about this. I must say I did, but I didn't know because I was new in the department. I thought it was a practice of the department. I thought, the very first time I encountered that matter, sir, was sometime in April of 2023. I didn't know I was summoned to the office of ASEC Shine, and then I was given an envelope, and it was later on I found out that there was money in it, but it was not because I was a back member or whatever yet, because I was not at that time.
At that last hearing, sabi ni Yusek Mercado, kung natatandaan ko, 9 envelopes yung natanggap niya, amounting to 50,000 each. Sa inyo pong pagkakaalala, hanggang kailan kayo nakatanggap na envelope? Ilan?
It started April. I think it was until September of that year.
Up to September 2023?
Yes, sir, but if I recall it right, I was only summoned about 4 times to the office.
4 times?
Yes.
Up to September 2023?
Yes, sir.
So yung last quarter po, wala na kayo natanggap?
Wala na po. Wala.
So in other words, wala na kayong envelope na natanggap ng 4th quarter ng 2023. Tama po?
Yes, sir.
Mukhang sumakto Sa panahon na hindi na ginamit ng DepEd yung confidential fund for the last quarter nang pumuputok ng issue ng confidential fund. Anyway, Mr. Osias, I think this was also mentioned by the VP in a press conference na magkano po pala yung laman? Magkano po laman ng envelope?
I think it was something like between 12 to 15, sir. Hindi ko na matandaan yung laman talaga.
12 to 15,000.
Very minimal amount, yes, sir.
Attorney Ucias admitted that he has received envelopes. I'm not saying it's wrong, no? Can be an appreciation thing or a love gift, whatever it might be. I don't think it's wrong. Pero if that is actually the habit of the secretary to give envelopes to her people, I wonder if only Yusek Mercado or you receive envelope. Perhaps Yusek Mempin should also say something about that, or anybody here among the DepEd family, because as I've said, no, when you receive an envelope, there was no thinking that there's anything wrong with that. Wala kaming inaiisip na masama yan. Just, you're under oath, and just tell us about it, and thank you for telling us that.